I made a chronal accelerator. I'm sure I can do this. To all agents of
Overwatch, welcome to the classroom. Today we'll be praising and venerating the brave leader of Null Sector, Ramattra, and discussing why he may just be a little too good for this franchise. But once again, thank you for joining us as always. Overwatch was released on May 24th, 2016 after a beta that caught like wildfire, not just among the select few who got to play it, but from the outside looking in, grubby little gamers already grew fond of the game's cutesy art style. I would say Pixar-esque as I have in the past, but they still haven't given an object sentience and an existential crisis, so...
Greetings.
Now this may just be a little bit out of my wheelhouse. I haven't talked about video games before, but to prepare I have been replaying some of my favorite anime on Xbox. No, please not again. Overwatch had a fantastic reception when it came out, even earning Game of the Year in 2016.
Overwatch.
The gameplay, presentation, and characters were all universally praised. The only element of Overwatch 1 that earned much ire was a $60 price tag and the increasingly unpopular loot box system. Now in 2023 we have Overwatch 2, a game with even better gameplay, new and improved presentation, and some of the most fun characters in the entire roster have been added over the past year. But, once again, we have Activision Blizzard hanging over this game like a guillotine, as their business practices have only become less popular. Overwatch 2 boasts a free-to-play model and a battle pass system, although with a paid and free tier. Though the free tier only grants you like a skin, and that's pretty stingy even as far as free-to-play games go. But the biggest stumbling block for Overwatch 2 has been the PvE. Ever since Overwatch was first conceived of, PvE gameplay was seen as an inevitability by the developers. As time went on, this dreamed PvE mode kept getting more and more elaborate, and just at the start of this new year, Blizzard revealed that the PvE would be much simpler than originally envisioned. And now that PvE mode has landed on the payload of time and is capturing the objective of not being super well received. But honestly, I don't care that it's not super good. I didn't buy it. I mean, the free side of this game still has me by the balls, and the battle pass might too, but I don't know, I don't really care about the story of this game. Except for one part.
I was created to lead Omnics into war. But all I have ever wanted is a better life for my people. The fact that we exist is a miracle unto itself.
Ramattra was released in Season 2 of Overwatch 2, an Omnic who leaves his life as a monk to command a revolutionary army of like-minded soldiers in Null Sector. Ramattra is one of my favorite characters in the game. He has great range, lots of opportunity to protect your team, and his pummel mode is perfect for making sure the nerds who play this game can still get bullied. But fuck all that, because even if he played like a mashed potato in a paper bag, this would still be the coolest character in the game. Do you want to know why?
We will take everything from you. You are wounded, weakened, slow.
Ramattra is voiced by Ramon Tikaram. You may know him from Pennyworth? Oh, sorry, I meant Pennyworth, the origin of Batman's butler. Tikaram does an incredible job lending his voice to this character, crafting one of the most unique and interesting performances in the whole game. But honestly, that's enough good stuff. It's time to be a hatin' bitch and tell you everything I despise about this guy. Number one, why is he that tall? People shouldn't be that tall. It's a little suspicious. What are you trying to get up there? Murder, probably. Hey everyone, real quick, I just want...
all agents of Overwatch. That's not right. To the former agents of Overwatch. This is Winston. Obviously.
And most importantly, please comment. I'll be sure to give you a reply. But let's get back to the video. While Ramattra is probably the most well-performed character in the game, and personally, maybe even my favorite tank to play, I really wish he could be in anything but Overwatch. The pacifist and violent revolutionaries have become popular character archetypes, especially in American culture, ever since the Civil Rights era. The most popular version of this trope being Professor X and Magneto, but another, honestly better written one isn't even from America.
It's from Japan!
Gojo and Geto stray the farthest from the origins of this trope, but stay with the same general idea that two characters from a persecuted group are slowly driven apart until one of them takes violent action while the other preaches pacifism. In Overwatch, this is Ramattra and Zenyatta. And this part I am all for. It is a trope I never tire of. I'm usually a bit more on the Ramattra side of things, but I always think that it makes for a really interesting character dynamic. Ramattra has a few voice lines that play whenever he uses whichever part of his kit, as all characters in the game do, and when he activates Pummel, he might say,
I will speak to you in the language you understand. Violence.
Now, while most might believe that this is a reference to Malcolm X, the originator of the Magneto side of this trope, this quote actually harkens back to something that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said.
I think we've got to see that a riot is the language of the unheard.
While we all know that Dr. King was not a fan of riots or the use of violence in general, even by the downtrodden community that he was the national face of, what they never mention in school for some odd reason is that King understood perfectly well why these riots were occurring and thought it a natural, expected consequence. That line alone really sold me on how they were going to be portraying this character. But then they kinda, well...
Back, still alive, loses the football, ball comes out, it's scooped up by the Ducks, and Tony White...
Like I said earlier, I didn't buy the new Overwatch invasion missions. Usually you put your best foot forward with the free mission, and well, after playing that, I'd hate to see their other foot. But the basic story is that Ramattra through Null Sector is leading Omnics to rise up against their human oppressors and liberate themselves. So far so good. Overwatch is trying to stop Null Sector and keep the innocent Omnics safe. That's good. I mean, if I were on the team, I would just focus on murdering Mei as soon as her guard's down, but that's just me. And when I heard that pitch originally, it kinda confused me a little because, well, why are the Omnics in danger? Or I guess in any more danger. I mean, the humans are already pretty awful to them, but luckily Ramattra is here to liberate them. Liberate them how? Oh, well, by making them mindless killing machines, of course. I've had a really hard time putting into words why this is a really odd way to portray the oppressed class in your fantasy universe. And yes, this is just a video game, but if they want to stuff a big important social message into that video game, you still have to portray it, well, better than this, so I'll just put it bluntly. If Ramattra is a character we're supposed to relate to, and if his cause is one that we're supposed to feel genuinely sympathetic to, this is psychotic. He feels that Omnics aren't valued as real beings with souls, so he makes a ton of murder machines, including kaiju-sized mecha, and also starts to capture and forcibly reprogram the good Omnics. You know, the ones who wear sweater vests and have an accounting job. Basically the white Omnics. And a character like Ramattra just can't be effective this way. He claims to care about how his people are treated, and how they are treated like nothing but walking weapons. And then he goes and he makes a sentient fucking nuke. I think that seeing Ramattra's message resonate with Omnics we know in the game would be a lot more effective. Null Sector shouldn't be only populated by tanks with social security numbers. Ramattra should be converting regular Omnics to his way of thinking, because they just flat out agree with him. This video gameism of hordes of faceless, identical enemies only cheapens the real and understandable grievances he feels towards the human race. I want to care about Ramattra and his goals. I want to care about him more than any other character on the roster. But with the way the game is, I just can't. Ramattra is a fascinating character who should be studied in a place where he can really thrive. Not just kinda mill about in the endless video game verse. But unfortunately, I think he's just a little too good for Overwatch. And that is the video for this week, y'all. I will see you next week. Goodbye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video, and if you made it to this point, a special double thank you. I'm sorry that I'm laughing so much. Mysterious fabled girlfriend just messed up my first shoot of this. Okay, what I have to show for my collection this week is Tombs, also from the fabled girlfriend. Yeah, this is a really good one. The beginning story, which is Tombs, is a bit longer of a Junji one. It's kind of like a mystery. It has more like twists and turns than a lot of his stories. Very exciting. I would really look into it. Yeah, let me think. Anything that I want to say about Ramattra? I would maybe want to talk about Overwatch again sometime if this video does well. Skypea video's doing well. Thank you all so much for that. Please go check that out if you haven't yet. Yeah, I think I'll be back next week with, I'm planning on making that, video about Kagura and, like, the Shandorians and all that for this upcoming week. So, yeah, I'll see y'all then. Goodbye.